The thing about art is that art is actually, by definition, quite a selfish act.
Treachery of the coldness of your smile, violator among the trees they hide.
If you start thinking about making your art to cater for the market or to please other people, you stop being an artist, you become an entertainer. I'm not saying it's not possible to be both, but I think the moment you start thinking of yourself as an entertainer, you start to create your art to please other people and not yourself. And I don't believe that's what artists do.
Headstrong.
In the early part of my career, I allowed myself to be talked into doing things by record companies that I didn't believe in, wasn't very proud of, and really regretted. And I tell you, there's one thing there's only one thing worse than becoming successful with something you don't believe in, and that's failing with something you don't believe in. My very first band that I ever had a record deal with was a band called No Man, and we definitely tried to go into the studio to write pop songs that we didn't believe in. I'm not very proud of those. The record companies are all, you know, at that time, and probably still to this day, are all about, we've got to get your song on the radio. So my songs are not very, you know, mostly they're too long, and even the ones that are short are miserable. They're not happy songs. So in a sense, there was pressure to come up with radio songs. So I think in the early part of my career, I did a few times do things that I didn't believe in, and they weren't successful, and I just felt so bad that I'd allowed myself to compromise and still failed. So I think I had, very early on in my career, I had this kind of moment where I said, that's it, no more. I'm just going to do what I want to do. If it fails, at least I'm proud of it. And it was actually ironically at that time that I started to build a fan base, because you know, sometimes you can play too much to the lowest common denominator and you don't give people credit. There's a lot of people out there that do appreciate quality and do appreciate some intellect behind music and art. And so I began to realise that the more self-indulgent I was in a way, the more people kind of admired that in me. And you know, it's not been easy, but over 20 years I've built up an audience that do respect, I guess, the fact that I don't do things for the wrong reasons. I do things for very selfish reasons, really. If I'm going to release a record, I've got to basically be the one that would buy it first of all. I'd be the first in the queue to buy it. That's my criteria, yeah.